Hey guys, just got back yesterday and I get asked quite a bit about how I fit all the junk that I take in my Jeep and how I end up pulling off what I pull off, because it seems like I pull all kind of stuff out of my rig all the time. So I figured I'd do a small little walk around, because I never really did a walk around when I finished up the last interior modifications. This last trip was the first trip that me and my son went fully loaded in the Jeep, on trail, and then went and found a camp spot, and then reloaded the Jeep the next day and went and found some more trail. Normally we go set camp and unload the Jeep, so there's minimal stuff in the Jeep while we're on trail. It's the safest and lightest way to wheel. Anyway, this is the first time we wanted to go wheel and then disperse camp and then wheel some more and then come home. So I got most of the stuff unloaded, so I figured I'd go through and just kind of show you how and what I got going on in here. I ended up building a sleeping platform in the back. So as you can see, I've got a drawer underneath, and then I carry a couple of bags. One bag's my recovery bag, straps, gloves, shackle, snatch block, normal type stuff. And then I have a spare tool bag that's over and above my big kit that has pliers, screwdrivers, pry bars, that kind of random stuff in it. I also keep my air compressor and an ammo can. It's nothing fancy, just a Harbor Freight jobber, but it fits in there nice. As long as you keep it dry, or if it gets wet in the snow, just make sure to open it up when you get home, dry it out. You see the top of my box for my Craftsman set. It's a 265 piece set, so it's got all the ratchets, sockets, wrenches, and all that stuff in there. And then I can get to the drawers from here, and if I need to pull it out, I just pull it out vertically through the slot, and then it sits flush, so I can use it as a sleeping platform. Inside behind the seats, I have 4-door, but I put 2-door seat brackets in so that I can push the seats forward and I have access to the boxes I built. The boxes are removable, they come right out through the doors. I got my food, snacks, granola bars, oatmeal, jerky, seasonings, just in case dry mountain house, kitchen utensils, just random bits, foods, snacks, whatever. I have a little flap here, covers up a secondary box, and I keep my 2-cycle engine oil, my bar and chain oil, extra flashlight, extra thermos cup, my spill kit, headlamp. There's some Gorilla Tape in the bottom there just in case. I take 2 wool blankets with me. These were cheapy, Harbor Freight. I think they're $10 a piece, so you ain't gotta worry about them. They're like 80% wool, so you can have them around the fire and you ain't gotta worry about them getting burn holes in them. And they're really warm, and wool holds its insulation value when it's wet, so even if you're sitting around getting wet by the campfire, you'll still be warm. I carry my Thrasher bag. I got this wood for rough stuff. It's a little bit larger than the atypical woods. And I carry in the side pouch of it. It's where I carry my first aid kit and my bug spray. You never know when you're going to need either one of those, and they're outside, easy to get to. I've had this thing loaded up with close to 100 pounds, it seems like, and it don't come off of there. Here's a secondary box. I always take and throw an extra sweater in, and I always take a towel, one that's good to wipe your hands off. You need to wash your hands, and it takes up any of the extra space in the boxes so stuff doesn't roll around. Got extra fuel in here, extra coffee cup, my frying pans, my pot. I always take like 2 things of tinfoil, because tinfoil rocks when you're camping. You can cook under the engine compartment and do all kinds of stuff with it. And both of these boxes, like I said, are removable, so you can take them out when you get to camp and pull your stuff out of them and then slide them back in there. I carry 2 2-gallon roto paxes, one for water, one for fuel. A lot of people will make the argument you only carry 2 gallons of fuel. My thought process is that my Jeep gets about 15 miles to the gallon, and if I run it completely dry and I put that in there, I actually get about 30 miles, 35 miles. And to be completely honest with you, if you're not pointed the right direction and you know you're going to run out of fuel and you're more than 30 miles away from the gas station, you've already made some poor decisions already. So I try to be mindful of it. If I get under a quarter of a tank, I really start watching it, and I save it the 2 gallons until I'm damn near out before I put it back in, making sure I'm in the right direction. My laptop setup, I built a custom mount for it so that way I can run it off of the fly. I'll show you my GPS setup here in a minute. My inverter is under the seat so that I can get to it nice and easy and turn it off and on and charge stuff up. So in the driver compartment, I run a Rhino 120. They don't make these anymore, but they're a really highly accurate unit that's handheld. It also has a GPS receiver on the radio side of it, so that if I transmit on the radio side and somebody else has one of these Rhinos, they can actually pick up my GPS signal and know where I am. It's really handy. It works similar to most of the other GPS units, where normally you got to load your tracks and your waypoints and all that junk before you leave, so you got to make sure you know where you're going. I hate that concept, and so that's why I ran the laptop. It runs off an old school serial port, so not very many electronic devices have the serial port, so I run it off of a serial to USB adapter, and that's integrated to my Garmin wire. And these two, so one goes to the GPS unit and one's integrated to the 12 volt, and I did that on the switch side behind the console, so when the key comes on, it powers the GPS unit, and then the GPS unit can talk back to the laptop. And then on the laptop I carry my map source CDs with me all the time, so I have all of the information that I need, and then I also have some other GPX files uploaded and saved. It's got a 320 gigabyte hard drive on it, so if I need to, I fill out my picture and video cards, I can offload it there. It's got Wi-Fi if I need to go to a Walmart or a whatever to talk to people, and so that works out really handy. My light switches for my light bars, front, rear, sides, in-cab winch control, rock lights, fog light switch. I run just a cheapy Uniden head unit, $40, Amazon special, whatever. I run a 4-foot non-adjustable antenna, 18-foot coax cable. It's run off the back. It gets me anywhere from 5 to 15 miles. If you're further than that, pick yourself up a ham. I got this recently. It's just a Garmin Nuvi, the newer style one. It's got the Bluetooth for your phone and traffic and all that. It's a lot easier to read when you're on road, when you're going in between trails, but it won't show you the trails unless you do a lot of other work. So that's why I carry the Rhino. And then, let's see, my sleeping bags, my blankets, and then I carry these two. I'm not sure what brand they are, but they're the Walmart special brand, or the Walmart special totes. They just sit up on top of each other. They're real nice. They got buckles. They're not watertight, so I keep them inside, and then I just slide those up on top of the platform and strap them down with ratchet straps, and then I throw my blankets and my sleeping bags in between there. And it works out really good. My table can go up on top. The camping grate usually is in one of the totes. And then I do have a rooftop bag. It's a fold down waterproof tile bag. It's not a hard shell one like people carry, because I don't use it all the time, and I like to be able to fold it down if I'm going through tight trails and whatnot. But anyway, it holds quite a bit of stuff, and so when I'm taking the kids, I usually use it. I've got my coats in here. I try not to put like blankets and pillows in here, because we did a coast trip when we first got it in high wind and high water, and all of our stuff got wet. So I try to just put like the chairs and stuff in here. I put my cot in here this time, so I got quite a bit of stuff in here this time. Got 1, 2. Looks like I got 3 chairs. My fabric folding table. That was my $2 Goodwill special table. Me and my son shared his school backpack for our clothes. We just had 1 day worth of clothes apiece, so that worked out well. Got a coloring book and some colors for him, and a lightsaber and whatever. Anyway, yeah, that gives me the extra space I need, so I don't have to pack all the nooks and crannies. And then I take a 10x10 standard flat sidewall, not the tapered sidewall, 8x8s. Just a pop-up. I throw the top over it and wall it off with some tents or some tarps, and then that's usually our cooking area. If it's just a day trip or 2-day trip, I just take this little red cooler. I've got a bigger one. It's the same design. This is the next step bigger that I'll take if we're taking both kids and the wife. Inside my totes, Ride Revival banner, of course. Got 1 tarp. This is the top for my awning. This was a new item I just got from dirttraveler.com. He's our Gambler 500 sponsor, and he sent us a dual fuel stove. But if you notice, I pulled it out of the tote, and it's super thin. It worked killer. I was super impressed with it. I won't go anywhere without it probably from here on out. You can use butane or propane with it. It comes with little adapters, and it's got an auto igniter on it. Oh, this is my dishes kit. That actually goes in my drawer in the Jeep. It's 2 plates, 2 foldable cups, a knife, a spoon, and a fork for 2 people, and a bag. It's stainless steel, so it works really good. I wash it when I get home. 1, 2, 3, 4 tarps in the gray tote, and another thing of propane for fuel. And the second one, there's my briquettes. I use these big gnarly sticks. They're cheap, and they'll drive in through the rocks. I mean, they're bent and beat up and whatever, but hammer, smash the hell out of them. 1, 2 more tarps. And then I carry coffee cans full of goodies. So this one's got zip ties in it. It's got some plastic cheapy steaks. It's got some more of the gnarly steaks. The cheapy ones for the kids' tents. Extra zip ties. I use the zip ties a lot for zip tying tarps to stuff. You grab sticks and zip tie them up, or zip tie them to the 10x10s or whatever. This is a new item. I just got. It's a side tent Coleman thing. Actually, I think it's Ozark Trail. Anyway, it just connects to the side of the 10x10 awning and basically makes like a tent room on the side of it. We got it this year for cheap for the kids. We're gonna try it and see how it works. It seems to be working okay a couple of times. This one I keep the adapters for the dual fuel stove. I get some of these tent clamps or tarp clamps. You rip the eyelets off the side of your tarps. You still want to put them up. These are coming really handy, and you can actually take these and clamp 2 tarps together and make a longer one. These bungees with the little plastic balls on the end of them, those work good for tying stuff up to the 10x10 awning and to the tarps and whatnot. These are the same thing with these little piece of crap bungee cords. I keep some of these in here too. They come in handy for, you can run one of these through a paper towel holder or a paper towel roll and then stick it up on something, and you got somewhere to put your paper towels. And then in this one, I carry just big long bungee cords of different colors and assortments. Bungee cords are awesome. If you tie them tight, tarps, like if you build a tarp sitting up with onto the trees and whatnot, and you use paracord, I got a roll of paracord in here. If you tie the paracord really tight, and then when the wind comes up, the paracord doesn't have any give to it, so it'll rip the eyelets right out of your tarps, and then your tarp city comes flying down. So if you put bungees on one side of it, at least the bungees take some of the give in it. And this is something new too. I went and got a bunch of these cheap squish clamps. I use them in woodworking and in the shop. But if you they open up just wide enough, you stick the tarp on the side of the legs for the 10x10, and you can just whack, and then and those things hold the tarps on there perfect. You don't got to zip tie them on there or anything, and they're real easy and reusable. I think they were $1 a piece, like 20 bucks worth of them or whatever. And anyway, there's the two totes worth. I also run emergency flashing lights, front and rear. We do a lot of summer wheeling and wheeling in the sand where there's a lot of dirt bikes, quads, ATVs, and I don't like having issues with oncoming traffic. I like everybody to be able to see me, especially when I'm leading a group. We've had some close calls, and since I've installed these, their close calls have been far and few between. I run the 12 volt up the pillar and under the headliner and across, and that powers my CB and my flashing lights up here. Under the seat, take a box of latex gloves, some 50X binoculars for the wife so she can look at everything out the window. I always carry some extra nitrile gloves with me, because nitrile gloves will keep the moisture off your hands. They may not keep you any warmer, but if your skin is dry, then it'll be warmer by nature. So I always try to keep those underneath my regular gloves. Next to the seat, I got a koozie. I have two 3/4 inch ratcheting wrenches. That's what I use to take my sway bar off of the trailhead, do what we call trail chores. A couple of bungee cords for bungeeing the laptop down and bungeeing this front sway bar. 13/16 wrench for taking my spare off, and an extra little clevis for connecting stuff. All over my Jeep I've got random maps and documentation. In the glove box I carry an extra handheld so I can talk if somebody doesn't have a radio. One toilet paper, of course, the essentials. My stereo connects to iPods, so I use a iPhone 5S for all my music and stuff. Waterproof. Case for the cube camera. This is a finger mouse for the laptop. The laptop that I have is a foldable screen, and it's also a touch screen, so it works just like a tablet if you fold it around, but it's nice on the trail to be able to grab the finger mouse if I'm looking for directions and stuff. I've got random chargers and more maps. Next to my seat, driver's seat, I always carry my camping gloves. Chamois for stickers. Everybody loves stickers. Tennis ball for the kids. Another bungee cord. Underneath my seat is my good light, my spotlight, and it's 12 volt rechargeable. My fire extinguisher is back underneath there. Another bungee cord. And I also carry, because I have 1-ton steering and a lot of big bolts and big hard stuck stuff, my custom tool, my pipe wrench with a cheater bar on it so I can bust big stuff loose or use it as a hammer or personal protection, I guess, if that tickles your fancy. On my 4-wheel drive shifter, I always have my headlamp and an extra little tiny flashlight. Those hang off my shifter, and those are always there. I'm faithful about checking to make sure they're there. I use a 12 volt splitter to power my GPS, and then give me charging for the cell phones, the iPhones, the radios, all the other kind of jazz. And then next to my seat, more toilet paper, sweet, and AA, AAA battery charger that's 12 volt, just in case something happens and I need to charge some rechargeables. Extra magnetic flashlight I always leave there, clipped to my laptop mount, so I've got a light that can hang off of stuff at camp. And I only took the split and maul with me this last time, but I usually take a split and maul, a normal axe, 2 hot dog sticks, and then underneath the seat, it's a pain to get to when you have everything loaded, but I have extra fuses and relays. I have an ATV flag underneath there. My jumper cables are under there. Another first aid kit, and some other random emergency bolts and wiring and whatever, like super emergency stuff that I could dig out of there if I had a just in case scenario. So this is the drawer that I pulled out from underneath my sleeping platform. It fits in behind the seat with the seat up. When I take the boxes out, fold the flap back, the rear seat will go up and the rear seat will go in, and then the boxes will lay here and here, and then the drawer can get slid underneath, so everything fits back here in the back. And then I still have about a foot of room up here to see out my back window, and my spare tire is a bifold, so it's all over on the passenger side, so I can still see my blind spot. In my box, sometimes we take full cases of water. When it's just me and the boy, we decided that refilling our water bottles out of the Roto pack was easy, because 2 gallons for 2 people, one overnight, that's plenty of water for cooking and washing and whatnot. I take a Bluetooth speaker for my music. I always have a handsaw, hatchet, and this little piece of crap military shovel, but you would really be surprised what that could get you out of. I have a Genius jump starter. It's got a flashlight on it. It's got a lot of cold cranking amps, so if my battery's completely dead I can restart it. I've got an automatic, so there's no bump starting me if I die, and then I can charge my phones and my speakers and all that crap off of that. A hand bow saw. Always, because I live in Oregon, keep my raincoat in the Jeep. I always take coffee, my kettle, my French press, my coffee pot. This coffee can is full of wood pellets. It's a just-in-case fire starter, and I have a coffee can burner that I kind of created in there. So you fill this up about 3/4 of the way with wood pellets and start it, and it'll give you a little fire for a good couple hours, probably an hour and a half. I always take lighter fluid with me. Heartburn. Hand sanitizer works as a fire starter too. Keep your hands clean. I carry my spare burner and a propane tank. I also carry a handheld torch, and I usually throw in a bag of briquettes on top of it too. I just live in Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. Everything, all the fuel, everything's usually wet. But once you get a nice dry spot for your fire and a nice cold bed started, you can burn just about anything. Deodorant, Tupperware container, AA's and AAA's, non-rechargeables. It's really easy to just throw out the old ones and grab new ones. I do carry a few rechargeables just in case. I have a little dental medical chapstick, hand sanitizer, toothbrush, extra lighter, some Q-tips, safety pins, some floss, just in case. I've learned that a lot of the difference between liking to go camping and not liking to go camping is having some of this convenience stuff. But if you take too much convenience stuff and you don't remember where you put it, it doesn't do you a hill of beans good. You get frustrated trying to find it, and you might not ever find it, and you might as well have just forgotten it at home at that point. So, take as little as you can, but everything you need. Extra Ziploc bags, garbage bag, another thing of tinfoil underneath there, another map over here, water bottles, speaker. And I'm kind of a mechanical thinker, so I always meticulously put everything back in its place. So even if I can't remember everything that's in here, I know when I open it that something's out of place. If something's out of place, it's kind of like me and not having my wallet. I start walking sideways and not thinking straight until I figure out what it is that I'm missing. Anyway, that's my little drawer kit. It just takes out. Let's see if I can do this. Bam! Slides right back in there like that. That's usually our cooking area. Anyway, here's the gist of it. If you guys won't have questions about the suspension components or the actual, the build of the Jeep, feel free to post up and I'll see if I can answer some of those, because I've had this one for 6 or 7 years now, and it's been through several different stages. So anyway, guys, there she is. Talk to you soon. Take care.